there are three things that have inspired the Tarkett sustainability engagement. First, there is a very long history of recycling. Actually, Tarkett in Sweden has been recycling since 1957 with good economic reasons, not just as a respect for the environment. So this was part of our roots. Second, there are two major trends. First, the growing population. We're going to be 9 billion people in the world by 2050, and we're all going to fight for the same resources. Do you imagine what that means, 9 billion people on this planet? And how many planets do we have? We have one. And so if we keep digging in the resources of our planet and all fighting for the same resources, what's going to happen? The third major trend is that we're spending today about 90% of our time indoor. And for energy savings, our buildings are very well insulated. So the quality of indoor environment is not what it used to be. And so the product in the past have not been designed for indoor use. And so it's very important we address that and we make sure that when we offer product to our customers, they are safe to the people as much as they're safe to the environment. So these are the three major trends that have inspired the Tarkett sustainability engagement. But what does really matter? The fact that I talk about it, or the fact that we are doing it? Because if we only talk about it and we don't do it, this is called greenwashing. Sustainability is a state of mind when you think of the cradle-to-cradle principles, which means your target is not to minimize impact, but to have a positive impact, which means that you design products right from the very beginning. So it's really about doing the right thing, thinking forward, especially when it comes to flooring products that are used for so many years. And by trying to become a cradle company, this is really what we want to do. So for that, we've set major objectives that are based on our four environmental pillars. Choose good materials. Good materials that are either recycled materials or renewable materials when they do not affect the food chain. This is very important. The second pillar of our sustainability strategy is what we call resource stewardship, is when we produce our product, we make sure that we use responsibly the resources like water, energy. We manage waste properly in our plant. We respect worker safety. So this operation pillar is very important to us. The third pillar is the use of our product. We make our product once, but we use it for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And so the impact of the use phase on the people and the environment is very, very important. And the fourth pillar is what we call reuse and recycle, which includes the take-back systems we're putting in place wherever we can. And this is something we're deploying more and more. And so that we can reuse this product and start the closed-loop circular design again. So we sell to Walmart the tiles, the VCT tiles. You all know about the VCT tiles. I think even using probably some HO there as well, but mainly VCT ties. So we supply them with VCT ties. They have their old ties. What we do, we take them back and we ship them back in the truck that was delivering the tiles back to the factory and reusing them. I think it's time that we realize that we have brains and we use our brains to do the right thing. And it's not just about consumption, that we could have better lives and healthy life, even if we just don't take, make, and dispose. And we could use our brains to make right things because, people are smart. It's just it's a different way of thinking, a smarter way of thinking. And there is no reason if we start thinking properly that we cannot ensure a sustainable future. But it's time to do it. It's already, we could have started that earlier, I think. Design product for reuse according to cradle-to-cradle principles. Right? Does that ring a bell? Yeah. Cradle-to-cradle philosophy is first been inspired by two people, a German chemist called Michael Braungart, who used to be actually a leader at Greenpeace in Germany many years ago, and who met with an architect, an American architect called Bill McDonough. And together they thought, okay, should we look at nature and see how nature works? And can we be inspired by nature? And if you look at nature, then you see three principles. First, the first principle, there is no waste in nature. Every waste is in the tree and as such, right? Everything that nature does is reused for something else. So in the first cradle-to-cradle principle is that there is no waste, these are just nutrients. If you look at nature, all the energy that is used by nature is solar energy. Could be then the wind, it could be water, it could be, but it's all related to sun. So we should use as much as we can when we design new products and we make new products, use solar energy, mean renewable energy. The third principle is called celebrate diversity. Not, if you look at nature in the world, the nature in Sweden is not the same as the nature in the south of France or in the middle of Africa, right? So locally, everything is, there is diversity locally. So that means that we should find solutions that are based on local resources for local needs and can be produced locally. So there is no one solution that fits it all. We need to adapt to every local market and every local available resources to design our products. So these are the three principles. I'll give you an example. Diapers, baby diapers. Who has children? Who has babies? You have babies. Are you using diapers? Okay. If tomorrow I say, well, I'm sorry, you're not doing too good. Sorry, forget about the diapers. You're polluting the planet, honestly. Why are you doing it? You feel responsible? Okay. So, you're not inspired when I tell you that, right? So I say, well, I'm going to tell you, well, instead of changing your child 10 times a day, just to save the planet, you're only going to do it twice a day, right? Or you go on the plane, and you're not going to eat before you go on the plane because it's going to be lighter and you're going to save fuel. How exciting, right? Okay. So, but if now you design a diaper such that the diaper at the end of use is not creating problem to the environment and is not causing any problem to your child's health, is that a problem? No, you can use 10. But it needs to be designed such at the end is not creating another problem. And this is really the concept of the cradle to cradle. It's a challenge, but it's very exciting because it forces us to think of having positive impact. We're not thinking in reducing impact. Because if you do something that is bad, and you do something that is not as bad as what it used to be, are you doing any good? Cradle to cradle is about doing the right thing right from the beginning. So if you design products with the right materials that are safe for people and the environment, that can be either reused or dismantled for use, or recycle, or go back in the nature, then don't you think it's inspiring? Would that not wake you up in the morning? The concept of circular economy is a much broader concept that has been very much inspired by the cradle-to-cradle philosophy, but also by biomimicry, which is to be inspired by nature. When you look at this graph here, this is very much what we've been doing for many, many years, which is called linear economy. We take resources, right? We make products, we use them, and what do? We dispose of them. Today, 80% of consumer goods are wasted. It means that in the recycling scheme, etc., there is only 20%. This is a lot of money. This is a lot of resources we're taking from the planet. Why are we doing this? Are we stupid enough not to use our brain to think differently? Could we not design products so that at the end we don't waste them? And this is what is really called the circular economy. So there is economic benefits of doing this, and it forces not just to work with our current suppliers that are, delivering new raw materials, but to partners with other companies where we can take back some of their product to be recycled. So it just changes the way we collaborate, we work effectively with other companies or locally. So it's a much broader concept with an economical aspect to it, which is very, very important moving forward. There is a word called phthalates. And phthalates are plasticizers for the flooring to be more flexible, because PVC is rigid at room temperature. So we need this for process and for performance reason. Phthalate is one word, and there are many, many chemicals that fall into that category. So what do we do as a company? Do we say, well, because they can't agree, we continue to use it? Or we say, well, if we can develop with a supplier alternative to this that are safe to people and recognized to be safe to people, then why are we not doing it? And this is really what we decided to do. It's like for PVC, we're not trying to fight everyone. We're trying to do the right thing right from the beginning. But that means working closely with suppliers. That means also engaging a lot of R&D resources, because you can imagine when you do this, you need to change a lot of formulation and all this. Plus, very deep research to make sure that what you change to is truly safe. Based on our Cradle-to-cradle principle, said, okay, can we choose materials where there is no debate? We know they're safe to people and the environment. And that's the reason we work with suppliers to switch from DINP to DINCH or DOTP in the US, because these plasticizers can be either used for food contact or even for toys that kids could put in their mouth. So we know they're safe. So since we had two options, either we go in the debate, say, you're wrong, we're right, like we've been doing also like PVC, you're wrong, we're right, or we say, okay, we address the problem. Either we're convinced that there are things that need to be done related to this, or we go to a product that we know is safe. And this is what we decided to do. And that's the reason we've switched to phthalate-free. Our products are made phthalate-free, so we're not buying any phthalate-based plasticizer. Now, in some of our products, we're recycling, right? And it's very important to build a circular economy, as to make sure that we don't have this issue of resources, that we take back as much as materials that we can as nutrients. Our flooring are used 10, 15, 20, 25 years. So when we take back material, obviously, then there is phthalate in there. Very low amount, obviously, because it's totally diluted in the rest. But it's not that we can say totally phthalate-free, which I understand could be an issue, because we want to be phthalate-free, but sustainability is not black and white. It's all about trade-offs. So is it better to say, okay, we stop and we don't use any recycled material today, and everything, we don't control where it's going, so it's going to landfill, to incinerators, and we're causing another problem? Or we say, okay, we understand it's not perfect, it's going to last several years until everything has been switched to non-phthalate, but it's a better way of addressing it. By doing this, we're also encouraging our competitor to switch to non-phthalate. So this is going to happen quicker than if we were to just the only company to do it. So we're retrieving it, but not having any recycled material is causing, again, a different problem. So that's what the difference is. For many years, people have said PVC was a problem. And for many years, those making PVC products say, well, you're all wrong and we're right. Honestly, I don't think they were totally wrong. There were issues with PVC, and these issues need to be addressed. So there is a lot, the Greens have done a good job, because they've put so much pressure on the PVC industry. It's probably one of the industries that has made the major progress in terms of being responsible with regard to their processes and their product. So if you look at PVC along, you need to start from, we start with rock salt and fossil and oil, if you want, and you go through the whole chain, and we've looked at all the issues that were, and they've solved. Everything has been solved, and there were some problems that were not solved in the flooring product, for instance, like phthalates, like emissions. This, as Tarkett, we've taken the commitment to do it. So we've taken the commitment of making product with PVC that are safe to people and the environment. If PVC is designed with good materials only, no emission, phthalate-free, responsible suppliers, take-back system, recycling, and everything, which can be done for 3 product categories: window frame, pipes, and flooring, then PVC is acceptable. So if you go backward in the PVC chain, we're saying we'd start with rock salt. So you start with rock salt, and on one side you get what is called caustic soda, and then you get chlorine, which is what we take to make PVC, which is the issue of PVC, is the chlorine, by the way. The caustic soda is very widely used for the mining industry, the paper industry, and currently there is no good alternative or sustainable alternative to caustic soda. So caustic soda will continue to be produced and will be produced from rock salt. So chlorine will continue to be produced. PVC, if you stop making PVC, which is a very nice way of capturing the chlorine, what is going to happen with the chlorine? If we ban, what happens, and are we doing any good to the environment if we totally ban? So we, Tarkett, as much as Michael Brongard, are much more in favor of tolerating PVC when it's produced in the right way, with the materials that are safe to people and the environment, and be aware of addressing the issue of chlorine production.